Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. We're talking about the potential of the city of Denver and now also the state of Oregon to possibly on their next ballot or in upcoming ballots have ballot measures that would legalize the use of medicinal mushrooms. You've heard of medicinal marijuana. Now it's medicinal mushrooms. And, of course, as we've reported here on Free Talk Live over the years, there have been some very interesting studies that have shown that psilocybin, which is the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, can absolutely do some amazing things for people with serious issues such as PTSD, for instance, and depression, anxiety, that kind of thing. So they're looking at some potential ballot measures. By the way, with you here tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And if you want to join us, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. How would you vote on this measure if it came up? Are there people out there who want to keep magic mushrooms illegal? And if so, why? Would love to hear from you. 855-450-3733. If you're a drug warrior, you're going to have to defend yourself very soon because magic mushrooms...
That sounded like something I would say, and it taken out of context.
Well, I meant mentally. They're going to have to defend themselves. The magic mushroom users are not going to attack you generally. They're very peaceful people.
Most drug warriors aren't drug warriors at all. They're drug cowards. They just
they shout for other people to do it.
They just
for
have
them.
the government.
Well, the DEA agents and the cops are. There's then also their supporters.
They're really not at war with the drug users or the drug dealers because the drug dealers generally aren't shooting back.
That's correct. Yeah, is it really a war if the other side doesn't fight back?
Go to Mexico. There you got a drug war.
The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Also, the Skype username is LRN.FM, or there's our Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. Now, in Oregon, according to thedailybeast.com, the advocates do face a steep climb to qualify their measure for the ballot because statewide initiatives typically require hiring paid petition gatherers, according to political analysts there. But still, familiarity with recreational marijuana, and Oregon, of course, has been on board with legal cannabis since 2015, and it had medical since prior to that. I'm not sure what year they got medical in, but most states go medical before they go recreational. And so they're hoping that familiarity with recreational cannabis will soften up the voters and the opponents of drug decriminalization. Well, I don't expect the opponents will be softened up, but the voters might very well be willing to make this particular move. And it'll be very interesting if this actually happens in one place. The Oregon and Denver activists...
We never thought it was going to happen in places like in Colorado or Washington either, and it did.
Who never thought it would happen?
Well,
you mean cannabis legalization?
Yeah, cannabis legalization. It looks real easy from now, but it was kind of a touch and go kind of thing back in the day when we were looking at that particular issue. This could very well happen, and we don't know.
Taking mushrooms can lead to nausea, panic attacks, and rarely paranoia and psychosis.
It would definitely lead to nausea from what I understand.
But they generally are considered safer and less addictive than other illegal street drugs. Even so, Paul Hudson, professor of pharmacy at the University of Wisconsin, who's conducted psilocybin research, says he's wary of the drive for decriminalization. He says psilocybin isn't safe for some people, particularly those with paranoia or psychosis.
Which is true of all substances.
Is all really?
Even if you read a bottle of Tylenol, it's like you shouldn't use this if, and then there's some really weird, rare stuff. So yeah, not all drugs are for all people. That's not the standard, though.
Yeah, that much is true. Not all drugs are for all people. Hudson said, quote, "I reject the idea that this is a natural progression from medical marijuana." He said, noting the safety of pot is much better established. Mushrooms, he added, quote, are very, very potent medicines that are affecting your mind. In the proper setting, they're safe, but in an uncontrolled fashion, I have grave concerns. Well, guess what, dummy? The proposal isn't to have uncontrolled legalization of mushrooms, although I'd support that too. The proposal, in Oregon at least, is to have this in a therapeutic setting administered by a professional.
Which, again, is true of all mental health drugs. Like, nobody's, or there probably are, but the recommended use of, like, Wellbutrin isn't just like, go take random amounts of Wellbutrin on the weekends. Like, that's not how you do it.
You do it under the direction of a professional.
Right. It's going to be treated like every other psychological drug.
Yeah. And by the way, if this actually happens, if this becomes legal, you're not going to see a doctor giving somebody a bunch of mushroom caps to eat. They have more professional ways to deliver psilocybin than just growing some mushrooms in some poop and, plucking them out and randomly throwing,
Wait, that works?
Throwing them on a scale. And because, when you're dealing with magic mushrooms, the size, the way you're looking at these things, it doesn't necessarily, just because you've got a big old mushroom in your hands doesn't necessarily mean that it has as much psilocybin in it as a mushroom that's smaller, for instance. So, like, you don't know. You can put the mushrooms on a scale and you can weigh them, but that still doesn't tell you how much psilocybin is actually in that mushroom. You have no idea. And of course, if you eat, the cap versus the stem, then that could, have a different effect. So again, the actual professional distribution of a product like this would probably be in a more liquidized form, I guess you could say, where they've extracted the psilocybin and they've made it easier to dose than to have to. Because if you've ever done magic mushrooms before, you know.
I have not.
Really? Never?
No.
You know that they, Melanie?
No.
No. Okay. So they are not very tasty.
Apparently Ian has.
Yes. Oh, yes, I have. And I have had psychosis as a result of it.
You've certainly had psychosis.
Yeah.
I've taken you to the hospital for it.
No, that wasn't that time, though. It was a different time.
But that was a different substance.
Oh, that's great.
From that story.
Yeah, that was sleep deprivation, the hospital time. But,
Wonderful.
But
I
anyway.
love these stories. I got to say, they aren't a colossal inconvenience to me at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Well, in that case, it was mushrooms that were way stronger than I thought they were, and I had done a half dose. Like, I was told they were strong, so like, oh, cut this down to, or maybe I did a quarter dose. Anyway, I did what I considered to be a reasonable dose, but my God, they were the strongest mushrooms I'd ever eaten.
At what point are you going to decide that what you consider reasonable isn't reasonable anymore?
Well, it usually works.
Maybe you need to make a decision in your life.
This is part of the black market. This is what you get in the black market is you get doses of drugs that are not what you expect them to be.
So it's someone else's fault. All right.
Yeah. Well, no, it's no one's fault. It's the fault of the fact that prohibition exists.
Not your fault.
Well, but at the same time, you know that you're getting an unreliable dose or an unknown dose of a product.
That's why I took a fraction of it
going in. So, I mean, Mark kind of does have a point there, whereas, okay, you don't know what dose this is,
I did
and
know
you eat it anyway.
Right, but I ate like a fraction of the dose that I had. So I did know that it was supposedly stronger, and I relegated that dose down, and it still didn't help me that much. But so that's the black market for you, because you can't really accurately measure a dose of magic mushrooms. But once we have legal magic mushrooms,
I don't know how measured psilocybin would be in shrooms if they just fully legalize it. You could just like buy it from the farmer's market. I don't know that would help with dose regulation.
No. What I've explained to you, maybe I didn't explain it clearly, is that in the marketplace, if you actually had competition, if you actually had the ability to sell psilocybin openly, you would have extractions. Kind of in the same way that you have extractions for
the
cannabis.
Medicinal market, I believe that, but I don't really believe that people are necessarily willing to pay the amount of money it would take to accomplish that when they're near free to produce at random doses.
Well, no, it's not free to produce mushrooms. You have to, you can go out to cow fields, and if you know what you're doing, and you're like a mushroom expert, and you can tell the difference between the ones that won't kill you and the ones that will kill you.
This sounds like a bad hobby.
You can go out and you can pick them, and you can get them for free. Otherwise, you got to buy spores, and you've got to put them in a certain...
At least kids today have the internet. I can tell you,
that's true.
If we went out when I was a kid, there'd be a bunch of dead kids.
Right.
There's a mushroom. There's cow poop mushroom. Let's eat it.
The professionals, I remember years ago, there was a big mushroom dealer that got busted in Sarasota, Florida. And I remember seeing the house getting raided. It wasn't somebody that I knew, but it was like... It was pretty obvious when it was going down, and there was pictures and all that. And they had, like fish tanks, basically, that they were growing these mushrooms in. I don't know if you need like a special kind of light. I don't know a whole lot about the mushroom growing process, but you do have to get mushroom spores, and they have to have a certain, there's a certain atmosphere or moisture or whatever that is necessary in order to propagate these things. So, you do have to be a professional at this. It's not just something. It's not like weed. You just throw the seeds out in the backyard and the plants start sprouting up. There's a level of professionalism required for this. And so you would see this. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. And now it looks like Oregon may have the chance to vote on it, possibly the city of Denver as well. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Magic mushrooms. Or maybe you're against them being legalized. You want to comment on that too, you're welcome to join us. This is Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come."
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, "The defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million. The 8-person jury found that Officer Francisco Martinez had used unreasonable force against Kanang and that his superior, Sergeant Chand Syed, had failed to intervene. The jury cleared a third officer, Daniel Torres, in the deadly March 2015 incident. A spokesman for the Los Angeles Police Department said it would not comment on a civil suit. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office had previously declined to charge the 3 officers with criminal charges. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Japan grants suffrage to female robots. And a hypochondriac maple tree is always convinced it has Asian longhorn beetles. The following 2 statements are true. The previous statement is false, and this is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Americans nationwide were stunned to hear horrific allegations on Wall Street revealing that numerous junior bankers have been forced to survive on a mere $6,800 per week. The findings, which implicate numerous high-profile financial institutions such as Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Citibank, suggest that hundreds of first-year bankers are constantly consistently deprived of basic necessities, including penthouse apartments overlooking Central Park and regular company-financed vacations to the French Riviera.
Many of these bankers are 23 or 24 years old and don't even have access to an expense account of over $50,000 a year. Not only that, but some of them are making as little as 20 times minimum wage. I mean, this is truly disgraceful.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. Coming up, bullying apparently is continuing on into your senior years in some cases. Senior centers and nursing homes. We'll give you some information about what that's all about. But with you tonight is Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Right now, we're talking about magic mushrooms. Maybe some of those bullies need to take some magic mushrooms and chill out a little bit. The proposals are active in the voting, or in the signature phase right now in Oregon and Denver. The city of Denver, the state of Oregon. In Oregon, the proposal would be that magic mushrooms would be allowed under physician's care, meaning your doctor would have to approve and supervise via a registered therapist in order for you to be able to use magic mushrooms. And then also there's something in Denver, and I'm not sure exactly what the proposal there is. But as pointed out here at thedailybeast.com, there are advocates on obviously both sides. One of them claiming that he's concerned, he has grave concerns in an uncontrolled setting. Well, the proposal is not to have uncontrolled use of magic mushrooms. That's already happening in the black market today with the war on drugs.
Right. It's really important to mischaracterize your opponent's stance so that you can then argue against the straw man.
Right. However, even psilocybin advocates share some concerns, saying, one of them saying, quote, "It's such a powerful compound, people should take it very seriously when experimenting." Unquote. These efforts to legitimize hallucinogenic mushrooms come at a time of renewed interest in the potential mental health benefits of psychedelics, including mushrooms, LSD, and MDMA, which of course many people might know as ecstasy on the streets. Two small studies published in 2016 by researchers from Johns Hopkins University and New York University found that a single large dose of psilocybin combined with psychotherapy helped relieve depression and anxiety in cancer patients.
So I think it's worth trying. If a study shows that this stuff works, it's certainly worth trying with people who are qualified, psychiatrists, psychologists, stuff like that. I do share the psilocybin advocates' position here that this is a powerful compound and shouldn't just be tried lightly.
Yeah, no doubt. That's true of psychedelics in general across the board.
But I don't know how to make that happen, right?
How to make what happen?
Well, how to make it so that people will understand that it's a powerful compound and not
anyone
take
who
it
tries it is gonna understand that.
They're going to try it. They're going to figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, but there are still people who just do psychedelics on the weekend, which I think is a horrible idea. But there's no way for me to make them only do them appropriately.
Some people are doing them at work. They're taking what are called microdoses.
They're microdosing. That strikes me as a bad plan,
They're saying it helps
I'm
them.
not a neurologist.
They're saying it helps them be more productive.
Great. You'll find somebody who will say just about anything in this world. Okay. How interesting.
That's awesome.
But just doing, 400 to 800 micrograms of LSD every week.
That sounds really bad.
Or, like that's a bad plan. And there are people who do that.
Wow.
But like any drug, if you take, 10 times the 10 times the recommended dose of Advil, you're going to have a problem.
No doubt.
If you take something just
that can
extraordinarily
kill you.
exceeding...
Taking enough aspirin is killer. That will kill you.
I saw a guy one time at a party when I was in high school take a handful of aspirin. I mean, this just
Did he go to the hospital?
No, I wasn't there that long. I'm not saying a super...
I know a girl who had to have her stomach pumped when she was a teenager for overdose on aspirin.
Well,
she took like 20 or 40 or something.
They'll go
crazy.
ahead and pump your stomach if you say that you've done it, but that doesn't mean you had to,
Well, she was in, from what I understand, really bad shape.
Okay.
Because That's like deadly levels of dosing right there. Whereas with mushrooms, you basically can't overdose. It's pretty much impossible. You can trip really hard, but you're not going to die from eating too many mushrooms.
So there's nothing you can do about a drug to make
You may think you've died.
You may have a really strong vision about death.
Yes. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, so there's nothing you can do to make there not be an excessive dose of any given drug.
Right.
That's kind of just inherent to that. I mean, if you drink too much water, you're going to die.
That's true. That happened to a radio contestant once upon a time.
Yeah, the fact that...
Are you talking about the hold your wee for a wee thing?
Yeah, dude.
That's a little different because you're holding your wee, but you can, people do die from drinking too much water.
The fact that there's a dose of a drug that's too much is in no way an argument against that drug. And people are going to abuse it because people abuse anything.
Absolutely.
It's just completely irrelevant to whether or not it's useful or whether or not it should be legal.
A British company backed by Silicon Valley investor Peter Thiel plans clinical studies in 8 European countries to test the use of psilocybin for depression. Other research has examined the effectiveness of psilocybin in treating alcohol and tobacco addiction. Can you imagine if that actually, pans out and they're shown to be some real solid scientific evidence from these studies that show that using one drug could help you get off of other, more addictive, more damaging drugs like alcohol or cigarettes.
I think you'd be able to figure out pretty quickly, do the people that take psilocybin mushrooms smoke cigarettes while they're on it?
Well, it depends on what they're trying to do, right? Like, so if you are looking to have a therapist help you quit, then again, this would be under some sort of a therapy program. It's not just somebody who's dosing on some psychedelics, smoking cigarettes at a party. That's a totally different kind of goal that person has.
Take your word for it.
In California, the campaign to decriminalize psilocybin was always a long shot, even though the famously liberal state legalized possession of recreational marijuana in November of 2016, and sales of that are starting this year. California ballot measures typically require about 366,000 valid signatures to qualify, and supporters usually have to spend between $1 million and $2 million just to pay the signature gatherers. A Monterey County couple leading the Decrim campaign managed to collect more than 90,000 signatures for their proposal with the help of volunteers, but they halted their efforts late last month. The initiative would have exempted Californians 21 and over from criminal penalties for possession, selling, transporting, or cultivating psilocybin mushrooms, which would have been amazing if that passed. I mean, that would be basically an end to prohibition, right? If it's legal to possess, sell, transport, or cultivate a thing, you've just ended prohibition. If they'd actually gotten that on the ballot. Unfortunately, they obviously didn't have enough money to put that forward, because this is all about how much money you have to spend.
Yeah. Can't even do it in New Hampshire.
Is really what do you mean?
Can't even get something like that on the ballot.
Oh, right, because there's no ballot measure.
No ballot measures.
Yeah.
The political process has got to be one of the most cumbersome in the United States.
Well, and there's a good side to that, though, and it's worth pointing that out. While it's frustrating to a lot of us here who've moved here as part of a migration of freedom activists, that's the reason why the three of us sitting here in the studio moved here, is this New Hampshire freedom migration that's been going on for, a decade and a half as an organized thing. It's frustrating to watch 8 other states go, or 8 other jurisdictions in the U.S. go and legalize cannabis while New Hampshire's dragging its feet and is now literally surrounded by states, Maine, Massachusetts, and Vermont, and soon Canada supposedly is going to have legal cannabis across their nation. So we'll be surrounded on all 4 sides.
So what you're saying is it doesn't matter that it's illegal because you can get it anyways.
No. I'm saying it's frustrating to see that happen and not have it happen here. New Hampshire is the freest, supposedly, of all the states, according to the Freedom in the 50 States study that comes out every 2 years.
Just not if that's your issue.
But on that one issue, it's behind the ball, and it has to do with what you're talking about, Mark. It is a slow process to try to remove government, but it is also slow to try to add government in New Hampshire. It is as frustrating to create a new thing in New Hampshire as it is to try to remove an existing thing.
Overall, it seems to be a good, or not a good, but a less worse method than an easily changeable legal system.
Right, because the other side of the ballot measure is any crackpot with, $500,000 or whatever to pay petition gatherers can get whatever they want on the ballot. So when we first started this show back in Florida in 2002, one of the first issues we talked about was the ballot initiative that would ban smoking cigarettes from all indoor businesses across the state. And it passed with 70%, just like every single ballot initiative tends to pass in that state with 70%. It seems like everybody in Florida just goes ahead and votes for whatever the ballot initiatives are. They don't care. It modifies the Constitution down there, by the way, when the Florida ballot initiatives go
Yeah, it's not even a
through.
ballot initiative. It's a modification of the Constitution.
But done by ballot. And so anyway, what I'm saying is ballot initiatives allow for all kinds of big government proposals to just sail on through. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial on in here toll free. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us on the phones. You can join us on Skype. Skype username LRN.FM. Join us in the Discord on-air call-in line room as well over at discord.lrn.fm. And Free Talk Live brought to you by Liberty.menu. It is a great tool for the Liberty community. And by Liberty community, I mean individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If that describes you, you qualify to use Liberty.menu as either a business owner or just a potential customer. It's basically a libertarian business directory where you can list the things that you do. So Melanie does taxes and bookkeeping, and we've got a radio show, and there's different things that libertarians do out there. And so you can put your thing on Liberty.menu, and then other people who maybe didn't know about you can find out about you. And maybe your other customers who already know about you can leave you ratings and reviews, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect to the site. Or maybe you're not a business entrepreneur, you're an events creator, or you're a digital content creator. There's listing entries for those things too. So whatever it is that you have that you think Liberty people would be attracted to, you ought to have some listings up. They're free to put them there over at Liberty.menu. So hop on over there and enjoy. Once again, it's free. Liberty.menu. We're talking about psilocybin mushrooms, two proposals that are currently in the signature gathering phases, which I don't know if that means that they're going to be able to be qualified for this year or subsequent years, but the state of Oregon and the city of Denver are looking at potential ballot measures that could legalize medicinal mushrooms. You've heard of medicinal cannabis or medicinal marijuana. Now we're talking about psychedelic magic mushrooms, possibly going to be into a semi-legal status for the first time in God knows how many decades. I guess it would have been Nixon's war on drugs, where mushrooms were probably criminalized, but I don't know. I don't know what the history of the criminalization of psilocybin is. In fact, there aren't, according to the story at thedailybeast.com, there really aren't even that many busts. According to the story here, possessing them is generally a misdemeanor under California law, because they were talking about a ballot measure that unfortunately did not get the required signatures in California that basically would have across the board completely legalized possession, sale, and distribution and growth of magic mushrooms. They just didn't get enough ballot signatures in order to make that happen. But the state statistics on psilocybin offenses are scarce in California. The most populous state in all of the United States. There really aren't that many statistics on busts for people using mushrooms. Doesn't to say they're not happening. It's just they're just not getting caught. But few people are even jailed for those crimes, according to analysis by the California Attorney General's office. Kitty Merchant of Marina, California, who spearheaded the psilocybin campaign alongside her husband Kevin, said, quote, "It's not a reckless community. It's experimentation with your mind and your thoughts. There's a safeness to it, and there's an intelligence to it," she said. Merchant said she and Saunders, both medical marijuana advocates, spent about $20,000 of their own money on the campaign.
Is that just to get signatures generally?
Yes.
Okay.
In Denver, Matthews and his pro-psilocybin colleagues want voters to pass a city ordinance which would eliminate criminal penalties for possessing, using, or growing magic mushrooms. City officials have cleared the measure for signature gathering, and the supporters need 5,000 signatures to get it on the ballot in November. Matthews said he already has lined up dozens of volunteer signature gatherers. Now, that sounds doable. 5,000 signatures in a major city like Denver. If you hit the streets for a few weeks with some paid petition gatherers, I think you could snatch up 5,000 signatures.
Yeah,
for that. Presuming people aren't, against the idea of potentially legalizing magic mushrooms.
I think that you could find 5,000 people in the city of Denver that would give you those kind of numbers. Your problem is that sort of one or two people couldn't do it. You'd have to get others out there.
Yeah, you'd probably want to get a few dozen signature gatherers in that case, because some of them are going to be better than others. He said he has used mushrooms personally to help alleviate depression and other mental health problems. A big part of the decriminalization campaign, he said, is promoting responsible use. Denver, a progressive city and a state that was the first to legalize recreational marijuana, is a good testing place for this initiative nationwide, said Matthews. Just getting it on the ballot, whether or not it passes, would be a huge victory. In Oregon, activists are proposing a measure for the 2020 ballot that would approve or decriminalize psilocybin statewide for adults 21 and over who get approval from their doctors and agree to participate in a psilocybin service. The service would include a preparatory meeting with a therapist, 1 session of supervised mushroom use, and a follow-up visit. Patients would be under the care of a state-certified, quote, psilocybin service facilitator, unquote. Tom Eckert from Portland is a therapist who leads the psilocybin decriminalization campaign with his wife, Sherry, said the proposed limitations on psilocybin use are important. He says, quote, psilocybin is generally safe, but it puts you in a vulnerable state of mind. If you do it in the wrong setting, things can go sideways, and that's absolutely true.
I would agree. I would bet that's true.
It's true of all psychedelics.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from all psychedelic drugs, so that's not...
The drugs themselves told you that? I believe it.
But mostly dealers and other users. But.
Yeah, the most important thing when it comes to using a psychedelic is that you have to be in a safe set and setting, meaning that if you're in a place where you're unfamiliar, don't do a psychedelic drug. If you're in a group of people with which you are unfamiliar or uncomfortable in some way, don't do a psychedelic drug. If you are in a mindset that is negative, do not do a psychedelic drug, because that could amplify those negative feelings.
Yeah, there were some bad results from that with the CIA, who decided to slip people acid and then torture them.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, when was this?
Some time ago.
Like the 60s-ish.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be absolutely horrifying to be tortured while on
And then they were like, oh, look
My
how
God.
harmful LSD is.
Yeah.
Well, no.
We broke this person's mind entirely.
Yeah, I would think that psychedelics, you probably shouldn't go swimming.
I don't know. I mean, it would depend on how strong the dose was, I guess.
Yeah.
In most cases, a psychedelic isn't a party drug. It is something where, you might want to go curl up in a ball.
I've heard that it's been used that way.
Psychedelics
That
as party
sounds
drugs?
terrifying to me, though, to just be on any psychedelic around just like a group of people.
Yeah, unless it's a group of people you really know and care about.
I don't have a whole group like that. I just have...
Right. Which makes me wonder, is it just terrifying, the idea for you to be around a group of people? I don't know.
Well, it sounds more terrifying to be on psychedelics in a large group of people than it is to just be in a large group of people.
Yeah.
It's all about the set and setting. So if you are interested in doing psychedelics, you do need to do research. There's a lot of research out there that you can do nowadays, thankfully, thanks to the internet. Of course, Arrowhead.org is a vast resource with so many different frequently asked questions, dosage information, trip reports from people who are kind of writing about their experiences on various different substances. Of course, the classics like psilocybin mushrooms and LSD and DMT. These things are well researched. They've been used many, many times by countless people. So there's so much to read and to absorb about these things that you really ought to do before you decide to get into them. So that's my recommendation. And I wish the activists out there in Denver and Oregon good luck, because I agree with them. If they can get this on the ballot, that will be an amazing thing, number one. And it'll be really interesting to see what the voters think about this. And it'll also, of course, be interesting to see how the prohibitionists counter, because they're not going to counter it yet. They're going to wait until it makes the ballot. Once it's qualified, then you're going to see all the the posters and the billboards and the fear campaigns going up about how everybody's going to go and take mushrooms and kill themselves under the supervision of a therapist. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Pre-order now at KillingUncleSamBook.com. KillingUncleSamBook.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here. Our number 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. We've been kind of on the war on drugs here tonight, although we can go anywhere. And still to come, the seniors having bullying problems. Apparently that's still a thing. But on the way, we'll talk about a different kind of prohibition, and that is the prohibition of knives in the United Kingdom. Mark has a story about that. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio here tonight. And I do want to make sure that you know about Zencash. We talk a lot about cryptocurrency here on Free Talk Live, and there are a bunch of choices in the marketplace. I mean, a lot. There's over 1,500 at the last time I checked at CoinMarketCap, and Zencash is one of those options. So why should you look closely at Zencash? Well, because first of all, it was founded by voluntarists, founded by people who actually understand what freedom is and who thought voluntarism was so important, they actually wrote it into the white paper about Zencash. So you can go and see that for yourself at zencash.com. And of course, like many other cryptocurrencies out there, they don't have a central authority or a single point of failure, which means Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. And everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. In fact, there are over 11,000 secure nodes, as they're called in the world of Zencash. That means they actually have more secure nodes than Bitcoin has just regular full nodes, which means Zencash very, very secure. And it's got privacy features that they started with over at Zencash. and makes it one of the most effective privacy coins out there from what I understand. And they've got the zero-knowledge anonymity factor on their privacy. You can learn more about that. If you're a tech person, you'll probably understand it way better than I do by going and looking at their white paper at zencash.com. So you can do secure private transactions with Zencash, and they've got the voluntarist philosophy behind it. It really is worth taking a look at over at Zencash. That's Zencash with a Z, zencash.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, let's talk to Larry. He's in Indianapolis. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you know, when I called in Saturday, you were talking about a situation where you would be allowed to set up some situation apart from regular society where you could have an enterprise zone.
Right. These are what these are special economic zones, and they're all around the world right now. China has quite a few of them. I know there's some in French Polynesia. Honduras just allowed, just made constitutional changes to allow this. And, so basically what they are is a place where a country suspends their legal controls to allow somebody to set up a city or a place for whatever reason. Maybe it's just a harbor, something like that, to be able to sort of do business and, make jobs and that kind of thing.
So you're saying that they're going to do the same thing here in the United States, right?
No, I don't think they can do that in the United States. I don't think the United States would ever would ever go for it.
Okay, well, I was just confused as to when you said that because it had been tried before. I remember the Branch Davidians set up a situation where they had their cult with their enterprise zone, and some teenage female escaped and accused the leader of sexual perversity, and then
I don't think that's
Janet
the
Reno,
same thing. That's,
but Janet Reno came in with the fire, and firebombed them. So I just think it won't work here in the United States, and it won't work any way you look at it.
The reason it won't work in the United States is because bureaucrats don't want to let go of their power. They don't want to let go of their control. They don't want to let go of the obedience that they have. They have the people at their beck and call, and they don't want to. They just don't want to relinquish any of that. To bring up Waco has nothing whatsoever to do with a special economic zone.
It quasi does, but we would when we talk about that. The bureaucrats are not going to let up on anything, and you can't blame them for not letting up on it.
Oh, I can blame them.
Oh, no, we can absolutely blame them being
they
no,
suck.
You can't. There's nothing you can do about it, though.
Well, you can always leave.
That's a different statement.
You can always leave and move to one of these special economic zones, which they're going to be needing people.
Well, see, leaving the U.S. is kind of like getting a divorce, and then you're going to take half.
I'm sorry, y'all are both talking at the same time. One at a time, please.
Okay.
Larry, go ahead.
Well, they've got their heel on your neck now, grinding it down into the pavement.
They do.
That's the way they're going to keep it, and
That's
there's
true.
nothing you can do about it, really. So,
well, I don't agree that there's nothing you can do about it. But Melanie, what were you trying to say?
So you said something about you can leave, and leaving the U.S., if you're a U.S. citizen, is a lot like getting a divorce, and that when you leave, they're going to take half.
That's true.
So
okay,
there's not really a you can leave option.
Well, the thing about it is, I got to enlighten you. If you go anywhere in the world as an American, all you're going to be is exploited and taken advantage of because they really don't need you. And whatever technical skill that you might have, they will have you to train somebody to do that, and then you will be expendable. I had a friend that stayed in Beijing for about 10 years as a translator. Mm-hmm. But after his stay was up and he was trying to act a little uppity and Americanize the Chinese people, and you know that they locked him in one of their black op jails and deported him. So
that's
I think
everywhere. I mean, anywhere where your job becomes redundant, they're going to fire you. That's not special to immigration.
Here's the secret to moving to other countries in the world, Larry. You don't get a job in the country in which you move to, ideally. You should be able to move your trade. So, like, Melanie, you could probably do tax advice from outside of the United States. You could probably remote consult with people over an internet connection and make money at that. Mark, you can host a radio show from anywhere in the world. So if you have a career that you can move anywhere, then you don't have to rely on some corporation, giving you work in that other country.
But I'm frightened about that, too, because I know that these apps and so forth that you use to facilitate your business or whatever, they will find about your business and then just set up a duplicate business, and your connection ain't going to be that good anymore.
So you're worried about competition.
I'm not worried about actual competition, but I'm worried about the people that are facilitating you setting their own business up that mimics what you're doing.
That's competition.
Right, but you're talking about having someone facilitate you. Of course, if someone has no more use for you, they're not going to continue to pay you.
Yeah, they don't owe you a
You
job.
can either find a different job or you can become self-employed, which would mean you find customers. The fact that a company isn't just going to keep your job forever doesn't, that has nothing to do with immigration, and it's really not a negative thing on that company. It's
Right. You're right. It has nothing to do with immigration. It's sort of the way of the world. If somebody is working with you and they can borrow the ideas from you that you share with them as part of your responsibility on the job, and then they strike out and create a competing company that from all the things they learn, that's just the way of things. I mean, it doesn't matter what country you're in.
Then you're going to be stranded in a country on a humble with no money.
Yeah,
and
I see the fear of what you're talking about there.
Well, the idea would be that if you go to a foreign country, and get work, that you should be getting paid significantly better than you do in the United States. And everything I've heard, that's the case.
Not if you get a job.
Hold on. Yeah.
If
I'm
you
talking
go
about
and wait
if you get a
tables
job.
down in Mexico, you're going to get paid Mexican waitress wages.
Don't go to Mexico and wait tables, you Nimrod.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you need to do your own thing. Larry, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, because if you just go and get a job in some other
if
country,
you go down to Mexico and you do consulting work on setting up a radio station, then you should be getting paid significantly more to do that than you would inside the United States, because you have had to because that's the way these things go.
You don't think there are Mexican engineers who would do it for less?
Then you should do it. Then they should hire the Mexican engineer. If they're bringing someone in from outside of the country, they need specialized skills.
Yeah.
If that's the case, negotiate upward.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
So all I'm saying is if you're making $100,000 a year in a foreign country, don't spend it all, so you won't be stuck in that foreign country with no money.
Right.
Or that's not just a foreign country. That applies in the U.S. too.
Yeah.
Don't spend your whole paycheck. I mean, if you're 18, maybe you can avoid that so much, but don't spend your whole paycheck and then get fired later, 3 years later, and be like, oh, no, I have no...
It's bad fiscal...
This is basic humaning.
Well, it's basic fiscal responsibility, and many Americans don't have that. They do live paycheck to paycheck, and I don't know if Larry is that kind of person, but, maybe he is. And that's why he's afraid of what will happen if he loses his job, because he's got nothing else.
40% of Americans don't have $400 in the bank.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I'm surprised it's as low as 40%. I would expect it to be more than that. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Free Talk Live.
When you call a government bureaucracy, more often than not, the person who you talk to will not know the answer to your question, but they'll tell you they think they know who the person is that has the answer, and they will pass the buck to that other person, and if they happen to pick up the phone, they'll usually pass on the buck, or you'll leave a voicemail and never hear back from anybody.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being rude at the TSA at all. The third person I talked to, she was getting pretty hot under the collar. It's like, what are you being so angry for? I'm just asking regular questions any person would.
Well, she's probably upset that she had to pick up her phone and talk to one of the little peons like you.
She's probably annoyed at her underlings who actually gave you her phone number and let you get through to her.
Yeah, that's probably the case. She just wants to play solitaire, and you interrupted her game, or she just wants to surf on the internet, and you just ruined her day.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio, whether you want to talk about the threat to kill police dogs by the cops if cannabis is legalized in Illinois. That happened. Or magic mushrooms potentially being legalized for medicinal purposes in Denver and Oregon, or whatever it is that's on your mind. You can take control of the airwaves. We just talked a little bit more about special economic zones, which was a detailed discussion we had over the weekend. With you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Don't forget, if you want to support Free Talk Live, please amp the show over at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's a very simple concept. You send $5 a month into Free Talk Live via PayPal, credit card, or you can do a Bitcoin Core, BTC subscription there over at amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get cool perks, and you'll help us out. The perks include access to the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only call-in lines. There's special AMP-only chat rooms on our Discord, and there's also the AMP-only Facebook group and more. Get all the details and get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com. We sure do appreciate it. It makes a big difference for us. It's the reason why we're on over 185 radio stations today. In fact, I'm hoping we're going to be on a couple more officially within the next couple of weeks. Maybe sooner rather than later, but I can't say which ones.
When are we going to hit 200?
I don't know, Mark. We're still a little ways away from that. It's possible that it could happen this year. That's a possibility.
I would think so.
The more stations we can contact, the more stations we have, the better off we are.
Seems like you're whipping through them right now.
The Heavy 100's coming out next week, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if we'll move up on that chart. That's the list of the 100 top, sort of arbitrary list, if you will, of Talkers Magazine.
The most important radio programs. It's not the most listened to.
Right. It doesn't have to do with the number of stations or listeners.
It does have to do with the number of stations. It has to do with
that's only a factor, though.
It's a factor, right? So Free Talk Live tends to punch above its weight on the Heavy 100.
It's true.
Because of
what were we, number 29 or something?
Number 29 right now. Because of the fact that we are the only show that does what we do.
Meaning like independent.
We're independent, libertarian, open lines, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Weekends and holidays. We are the young guys. There's not many people that are producing radio programs that are. How old are you, Ian?
In my late 30s.
Yeah. Right? I mean, how many late 30s guys are there on the radio? Just not that many.
We started this more than a decade ago, so we really were the young guys back then.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll let you know where we end up on. I mean, I'm not going to presume we're going to be higher up. I mean, maybe we'll drop a point.
We have
Who
been
knows?
high. We have
every
been,
year
every year
higher.
we've gone higher and higher.
That's true.
I'm not saying we deserve or need to go higher.
No.
Once you start getting into that top 30,
it's got to be hard to
things
displace
bounce
somebody.
around a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be hard to displace somebody. And we've been plateaued at like 100 and up until this year, we had kind of plateaued at radio stations for as far as like our number that we had between 160 and 170 for like maybe 3 or 4 years. And so finally we're starting to see some more, not to say we weren't adding stations during that time, but we would lose a few.
Yeah.
You know, stations will change formats. They'll change from news talk to music or news talk to sports talk, and then, you know, we lose those
But
stations.
Talkers, the one that hands out the award for the most important radio program in America, they did do a story relatively recently about how many stations Free Talk Live was adding.
That's true.
So it seems like
they know.
Yeah, they know.
All right, so we'll let you know when that happens. Meanwhile, we go to one of the top YouTube channels in independent news. He's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. I believe you're number 2 if you rank from New Hampshire viewers. Go ahead, Dave.
Probably number 3 currently, but anyway, speaking
Tough
of the Ridley
competition.
Report, I just went on a Ridley rampage today and did a huge slew of ambush interviews. I did 4 demonstrations, all in Concord, and I just by accident sort of, popped out of the State House after doing some ambush interviews, and just by coincidence, in front of me were a bunch of people blocking the street, preparing to get arrested.
Really? Over what?
It's there's some sort of nationwide Martin Luther King type thing, the campaign for the poor or something like that.
Really? Okay. Tell me more.
So I got some pretty good video of that, but at the end of it, I talked to one of the demonstrators or one of the organizers. I said, of all the things to get arrested for, like there are over 200,000 pages of listed of things that you're not allowed to do in the United States. You don't have to go into the street and block people off to get arrested. There's plenty of other things that I'll be just as happy to take your picture, getting arrested for anything else.
Right.
Just like this. But they said, well, we need to get people to stop and think. And I said, look, for God's sake, there are laws that stop you from helping the poor. Why don't you break one of those? And
you mean like for instance, what you mean is like in certain places it's illegal to actually feed poor people, like the hungry. It's illegal. People have been arrested for this in places like Florida. I don't know if people have been arrested for it in New Hampshire, but that may be illegal in some places. I don't know.
But there are plenty of laws that restrict how you can help the poor in all kinds of different ways. Like, for instance, the one I violated on my little civil disobedience kick was the minimum wage law. I just hired a poor person to work for me for slightly less than minimum wage. And they never arrested me for that one.
You robber baron.
Anyway, when I said that to them, when I suggested this to them, they didn't argue with me. They just sort of sat there and they said, let's look into that. So they're thinking about maybe. They definitely seem to be thinking it over immediately. We're warming to the idea.
Well, good. I mean,
so,
it's hard to believe that nobody has ever said to them, hey, did you ever think about maybe doing some more creative protests rather than just blocking traffic and making it so people hate you even more than they would normally hate you?
Yeah, there's plenty of victimless crimes you could commit to get yourself arrested. You don't have to go around kidnapping people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the reasons that people block traffic is in order to spread their message a bit further. I think it's a terrible way to do.
It's counterproductive.
That's my opinion.
Because you're not actually going to spread your message further.
Martin Luther King Jr. did some traffic blocking too.
Nobody's perfect.
No, I think it's a bad protest.
You're not going to spread your message farther because the traffic that can't see you because they're too far back because you've blocked traffic is not seeing you. So you'd spread your message further if you just stood there and held signs as traffic drove by.
The argument that I've got from people who are in favor of this type of thing is that their goal is to make the people who they're kidnapping to feel bad and feel as powerless as they feel.
It doesn't
and
work.
then missing steps,
Reform.
Then I don't know.
No,
like,
that doesn't
making
work.
someone hate you and miss their job and miss a job interview, be late to work, be late home.
Right, because people
Die
already
in traffic, not being able to get to the hospital. Like that's not a response to really anything.
You've been out with me, Melanie, at various different events over time. I remember specifically NH Exit. There were some secessionist sign wavings that we did here in the Keene area. And it doesn't really matter what the issue is, whether it be, helping the poor or whether it be protesting for secession or ending marijuana prohibition or whatever the issue is. People are going to hate you just because you're there with a sign on the side of the road.
Right.
If you want to guarantee even
Oh,
more
yeah, you
people
just want to be
hate
hated.
you.
Just do anything. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
But my point is, if you want to guarantee everyone on the road hates you, then stand in the road and block them all from getting to where they're going. Because the people who would have honked for you will now hate you.
Well, yeah, and now I can't even, do what you want me to do because then I'd be encouraging that behavior. So, yeah.
I've done this peace vigil stuff out on Central Square in Keene, New Hampshire.
Where they have the anti-war event every Saturday?
One of the longest-running anti-war events in the
since
country.
the 80s, right?
Early 90s.
Okay.
And I can only imagine if we went out into Central Square and actually blocked traffic.
I mean, into the street.
Into the street and blocked traffic. It's one thing. Usually there's one or two people that'll go by and they shake their fist or maybe they'll come by and say something. It's really funny to hear them talk about how you hate veterans, and most of the people at the protest
80-year-old
are
World
veterans.
Korean War veterans and things
Korean,
like that.
Vietnam. There's a World War II veteran there that still goes out and protests against United States intervention.
It is always amusing to see people counter-protest peace. If there's no other message and it's just we're for peace. And then they're like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, some people just love war.
Really? I mean, you've really, really gone ahead and added a whole bunch of stuff to the protest if you think that peace, it's worth going after peace protesters. Usually the complaint is you're not supporting our troops. These were your troops. You're not supporting them.
One standing there at the protest.
Yeah, you, Mr. Angry Person. What are you upset about?
Dave, anything else you want to share?
Well, I guess the other thing that happened to me today is I got a chance to light into a U.S. Marshal about the treatment of the Browns.
That's Ed and Elaine Brown, the tax protesters who are still in prison and will probably end up dying there for not paying income tax. Horrible story that happened more than a decade ago. At this point. Dave, thanks for the call tonight. I'm sure our viewers or your viewers will see that over at RidleyReport.com when the videos are up, and he's always posting videos over there over at RidleyReport.com. Of course, Free Talk Live, one of the longest supporters, advertisers on Dave's channel. More coming up here. You can join us, 855 450 free, like freedom, Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, the defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million. The 8-person jury found that Officer Francisco Martinez had used unreasonable force against Kanang and that his superior, Sergeant Chand Syed, had failed to intervene. The jury cleared a 3rd officer, Daniel Torres, in the deadly March 2015 incident. A spokesman for the Los Angeles Police Department said it would not comment on a civil suit. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office had previously declined to charge the 3 officers with criminal charges. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Republicans back a plan for universal lawn care. And an RC car works up the courage to approach a group of girls. And now a recap of the week's news for those who like to waste their summers surfing the internet. Fall, the long-running series of shorter days and cooler nights, was canceled this week after nearly 3 billion seasons on Earth. The classic period of the year, which once occupied the coveted slot between summer and winter, will be replaced by new stifling humidity levels and near-constant sunshine. A shiny, bobbing object in the water is generating fascination among members of the fish community, who have described it as pleasingly wiggly and minnow-esque. Aquatic experts say that decisive action must be taken against the object very soon. In local news, just when 27-year-old Andrew Sheets didn't think his vacation could get any better, a rerun of Spin City came on. And in other headlines, a bee stuck between the screen and front door is going nuts. And a water skier lets go of the crossbar to greet those not currently water skiing.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the 3rd hour of the program. You're invited, as always, here. Take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever is on your mind. At 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
We've also got Skype. You can Skype in, talk to us there. You'll sound better than if you're on the phones over at lrn.fm. That's our username on Skype. And in addition, there's our Discord on-air call-in line room, which you can go to discord.lrn.fm. Just jump right into the top chat room there, and we will get you on the air through that method, which sounds even better than Skype, I would say. So we'll talk to you about whatever's on your mind. Coming up, since Dave Ridley had called in about these protesters that he just ran into today, he was in the state capitol in New Hampshire and happened to run into some people that were going to block the roads for what he said was some kind of a poor people's campaign. And I did find out some more information about that, so let's talk about what that is. But first, we go to the phones and to the fun. We got Mike. He's calling from Pennsylvania. Mike, where are you in Pennsylvania? It says here you're listening on the radio.
Erie, Pennsylvania.
You are in Erie. Excellent, which means you're listening to WJET. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, I've been involved with Bitcoin since the beginning, and as far as I can find...
When you say beginning, what year are you talking about?
I couldn't tell you.
Oop, we might have a bad cell phone signal, or maybe you weren't talking directly into your phone. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact year, but I was involved back when Bitcoin was worth about $1.
Okay. Good times.
Did it go up to 30 and come down to $1, or was it $1 and then went up to 30?
Regretfully, I got out, and I just got back in.
Okay.
Basically, what my question is I'm using Coinbase right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to get involved in the altcoins. I wonder if you have a place that's safe or you recommend.
Yeah, so we like Shapeshift, which is a website that allows you to easily, without even using an account, take your existing, let's say you have Bitcoin, because Coinbase has a few different things now. They used to only have Bitcoin. Recently they added Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, and I think Ethereum. I think there's 4 coins that Coinbase allows you to have and trade. But of course, for listeners that are unfamiliar, there's 1,500 different options out there. Now, most of them aren't even worth talking about, but there are a few dozen that are kind of in the top that are, at least worth looking at and considering. And the folks over at Shapeshift.io, that is their website, Shapeshift.io, They have a website. There's also, I believe, an app. And some of the wallets for cryptocurrency, like the Coinomi wallet, actually have Shapeshift, I believe, built right into the wallet. So what you do then is you send from your Coinbase into Shapeshift, and you can select what you want to come out the other end. So if you want to turn your Bitcoin into Monero, or if you want to turn your Bitcoin into Dash, or whatever other thing that they have. I don't know all of the dozens of choices. I think there's at least 24 on Shapeshift, maybe even more than that. It's been a while since I've been to the site to check their inventory, but they usually have some of the more popular coins, altcoins that are out there. So that would be the easiest way. So basically, you have to have your own cryptocurrency wallet. So one thing, if I could recommend for folks out there, Coinbase is a fine way for somebody who's new to get started into cryptocurrency, but it's not a place where an experienced user should be. And the reason for that is because Coinbase, the way their system is set up, they control your wallet. They have total control over your wallet. And that provides some benefit to the user in that if you lose your password, they can give you a recovery, process that you can go through, and that's helpful or whatever.
It's like a bank.
Right, but also the bad side is if Coinbase decides they want to keep your Bitcoin and, turn it over to the government or something like that, they can do that, and there's nothing you can do to stop them from doing that. Whereas, if you're using a wallet that you control, which is the majority of them out there, the majority of these, what do they call it, custodial, I believe? Is it non-custodial? Non-custodial is where the wallet company doesn't control it, and you do. So meaning that you control what they call your private keys. And with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, there's two sets of keys that you never really see the private keys in most cases, but you can write them down, you can store them in a safe place. And that allows you, having those private keys allows you total control over the currency that you have. And that's an important distinction in the world of cryptocurrency. That's the way it was meant to be. And Coinbase sort of bastardizes that process and makes it so you don't have control. So that's just my recommendation. Grab a wallet like Edge Wallet or Coinomi, which are multi-crypto wallets. Coinomi is the best one, in my opinion, at the moment for multi-crypto because they have dozens of options in Coinomi. Many of them you've probably never even heard of before, and it'll allow you to store all of those with one sort of seed key. So when you start the wallet, you write down a series of, I think, 24 words or 18 words or something like that, and you store that in a very safe place because if you lose your phone, you want to have those words in order to back up your crypto. So if you, let's say your phone falls in the toilet or something and it's done for, you get another phone. What do? You get those words out of your safe or whatever safekeeping place you have them, and then you put those words back into the app, and then it restores. Once you select the cryptos you had, they'll all still be there because the cryptocurrencies, for listeners unfamiliar, are stored on the cloud. They're in this blockchain, this public ledger in many cases, although there's some private ones, but many of them are public. Anyway, these decentralized ledgers so it's in the cloud. It doesn't exist on your phone. What exists on your phone are the private keys that allow you to have access to that. So I know I've been rambling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Shapeshift handles like a dozen or so. I mean, is there anybody that handles more than that?
It may be a couple dozen. It may be a couple dozen. Like I said, it's been a little while since I've looked through their inventory over at Shapeshift.io. But they do have competition. There are some others that do the same thing where you don't need an account to trade on Shapeshift, basically.
Yeah, what Ian's prioritizing here is non-custodial wallets, and Shapeshift allows you to do that. If you're willing to take the risk on a custodial situation, there's things like Kraken is one that comes to mind.
Those are what are called exchanges.
Exchanges. They'll hold the account.
Where you need an account. They need to know who you are. Yeah. They need to have an ID on file and that kind of thing.
Right. So Kraken.
So Shapeshift just basically transferring from one to another.
Correct. Yeah. Shapeshift, you go onto the site, shapeshift.io, you select what you have. So let's say you've got Bitcoin, you choose Bitcoin, and then you choose what you want that to be. And I'm looking at it right now, and I see at least what appears to be at least 40 different options that are currently active over at Shapeshift.
Yeah, I guess what I'm gathering is there's probably nowhere else safe to go as far as giving them custodial powers.
it's a chance you've got to take. I've had some crypto that I just couldn't get on a wallet, and I've had it on there on a custodial wallet for almost a year. And
which custodial wallet?
It was, I think, Poloniex.
Oh, okay. You're talking about an exchange.
An exchange. Yeah. And they were holding it for me until I felt like I got a wallet that I could be happy with. And just a little note to the people who are programming IOTA: you really should get a wallet that works real good.
It's in beta. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's a really great idea, but it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about exchanges is it's not just the risk of an exchange; it's kind of the guaranteed risk of an exchange. So Coinbase is going to send you a 1099 if you ever sell anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Even the exchanges that are claiming to not do that, claiming to be private, you have to give them an ID and stuff when you sign up. They know who you are. They at least have your email to be able to talk to you. If anything ever happens, there is a record of you owning this crypto. Whereas if you download a wallet, in theory, somebody could get your address and then look it up on the blockchain unless it's a privacy coin. But if your wallet address isn't out there, nobody knows you have that money. So it's kind of a guaranteed, 10 to 28% loss from using an exchange, guaranteed.
For cashing out.
Yeah.
You can buy on an exchange and they won't 1099 you for buying.
As of now.
Right. So there you go, Mike. Any other questions?
I got plenty of questions, but yeah, that helped for tonight.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for the call. Happy trading out there. I appreciate hearing from you. That's Mike in Pennsylvania, and you can get on the radio with us and talk about whatever's on your mind. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And Shapeshift.io, not only do they have some of the more popular cryptos, they also have some of what they call the tokens as well. So
lots of them.
Like the Civic token is available through them. The Storage token, Swarm City. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Take control of the airwaves toll free, 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
I need some help with taxes. Perhaps you need a bookkeeper who's an anarchist. Well, Melanie is the right person for you. She hates the state, and she's going to do everything she can to make sure that you keep as much of the money that you earned as possible if you hire her over at tax.freetalklive.com. What kind of work are you doing right now that tax season is kind of winded down? We're a month past April 15th, basically. What are you up to?
I have a couple people who are on extension, but that's not really keeping me busy or anything. Bookkeeping is what I am looking to do more of. Mm-hmm. We have plans starting at $100 for your kind of smallest businesses.
Per month. Okay. That seems very affordable.
Yeah, so that would just... that would provide you, your books done, ongoing tax advice, kind of proactive tax advice. If I'm in there doing your books, I might notice something you would never know to ask.
Right.
So then we can be prepared for that. Or, you can either be prepared or move something around so that it never happens. And, legally moving it around.
Right.
Put money here or buy this or don't buy that. Type of thing.
For deductions and tax breaks.
Split into two different entities, combine two different entities, stuff like that. So,
and these are the things because you're a professional, and the average person did not get into business to do their books, right? Like the average person who got into business to do whatever product or service it is that they wanted to provide to the marketplace, and doing the books is a pain in the butt, and they would rather probably have somebody else do it for them.
Right, and doing the books, if it's done by somebody who knows how to do it and is concerned with cutting your taxes, that can be as valuable as their paycheck.
It'll pay for itself.
Right,
It'll
pay. It could conceivably. It did in my case when I had Melanie do this work for me. And the other thing is that you don't know what she knows, so you're missing stuff, right? And you shouldn't be doing your own stuff in this case. You should be doing your business. Let her save you the money that you're going to pay her,
and the time that you're going to,
and then reallocate your time towards something you're good at.
So you win back your time, and you might even end up more with more money in your pocket.
It could very well happen.
Yeah. So check out Melanie's website. You can go through tax.freetalklive.com to access it directly. tax.freetalklive.com. Now, let's jump into. I know I talked about the senior citizen thing, but since Dave Ridley called about something that's timely, I mean, senior citizens are apparently going to be getting bullied, on into the future. So we can talk about that any night. But there's apparently a protest that has been going on today where Dave had called in about it. He just happened to run into this in Concord today, and I hadn't heard about it, so this is the first that we've talked about it. From HuffingtonPost.com, headline, Hundreds protest in cities across the U.S. for Poor People's Campaign. Now, hundreds isn't really it's not a really big
Hundreds.
protest.
Just think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds protest in cities.
Right. That's
across the U.S.
Yeah.
So
protests are impressive when you get to thousands if you're talking about across the U.S. But
yeah, there were tens of thousands of people that worked in the building that I worked in when I lived in a city. So
if 15 people in 15 cities protested, then you would have, what is that, 300 people?
Well, in this case, the folks over at Huffington Post do link to a quote or a Twitter from Fight for 15 saying that 300 marchers took part in civil disobedience in D.C. Today. So, and when I see a few dozen people at a protest, I consider it a success, but that's because I'm coming from the libertarian perspective where getting more than a handful of people out is a win. But anyway, hundreds of people took to the streets today as part of a new movement to challenge racism and poverty in America. The Reverend William Barber II and Reverend Liz Theoharis, the two religious leaders spearheading the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, led dozens of demonstrators at a rally and march in front of the Capitol in D.C. this afternoon. Similar rallies were coordinated and held in front of state houses in over 30 states across the country, according to organizers. Participants in D.C. sang out familiar chants from protests against racism and police brutality in recent years, such as, "What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now." And also, "What do we want? A living wage. When do we want it? Now."
So justice is then equated to a living wage.
Hundreds were arrested at
one
the
of the things that
rallies.
my rebuttals to this is that poverty is the natural human condition. Like, you popped out of the place you popped out of, things were gooey and red, and you had nothing. Why is it that you expect something from other people? You're not even the person from whom you popped out of. Just random folks that have things. You expect some of their stuff because reasons.
Well, I mean, if somebody's working, you have to trade your labor in order to get that stuff. So it's not just an expectation of getting a thing.
Sure, somebody who works, needs to negotiate a wage, and in all likelihood, right now, with the employment rate being the lowest it's been in many, many years here in the United States, you're going to be able to negotiate yourself a pretty good wage. If, I don't know, you speak English fluently, you can show up to work on time, there's no heroin needles hanging out of your arm, you've got a haircut, and you bathe that day.
So, and a lot of these jobs that they're demanding it for just aren't worth what they're demanding. But what would happen in the free market is that those jobs wouldn't exist. So, which I know is kind of
what do you mean?
Counterintuitive. So,
exist?
in the free market, without a state, if you want to hire someone to work full time, you have to pay at least enough to keep a human alive. Mm-hmm. And if you're not paying that much, your employees are going to die. So what companies are kind of allowed to do is have the state subsidize their workforce.
This is something like big companies that pay very low wages. Many of their employees are on food stamps and WIC and other sort of welfare services.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, Walmart is probably on food stamps. I haven't
there are people who say that is not
raw
true.
Data on that, but then at the same time. So that is an issue. So, if you're paying someone not enough to support a single adult, then you are being subsidized by whatever else it is that they're on. But we're talking, in a lot of cases, all the numbers you hear is a family of 4. Where'd those extra 3 people come from if you were telling me you can't afford groceries? So you have the problem on both ends. You have where the corporations a lot of the time really are being subsidized by welfare, but then you also have people who are trying to live a lifestyle that is well beyond what they're able to produce.
So I believe this is a myth, Melanie, the idea that Walmart is loaded up with welfare recipient employees, and the folks over at investors.com are saying it is a myth. They point out here that the claim is that Walmart doesn't pay its workers enough, and taxpayers are thereby forced to make up the difference. The latest to make this claim is the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, who says, quote, "Every American taxpayer is paying a tax they never heard of, the Walmart tax." And they'll get into...
Okay, but you don't think there's any corporation that pays less than what it takes to keep one single adult alive in the US?
I don't know. I know people who work at Walmart, and they are our friends, and they don't have a problem. So there's a guy who is a listener of this show. I don't know if I should name who he is, but he's well known in this area as a mover for the Free State Project. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. He works at Walmart.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S. The Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own. And only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code RADIO at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't going to make a lot of comments. Now, wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT NoGov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, protesting supposedly in favor of the poor today. But are their protests actually going to result in helping the poor? Well, we can get into that here. I don't think so. We'll explain why that is. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Protests happening in cities across the country, with the main one being in D.C., where an estimated at least 300 people were engaging in some level of civil disobedience at this protest. We're going to continue with that discussion. We'll also take your calls about whatever's on your mind. And plus, I do want to make sure that you know about the Blink home security system. They're back on board here with Free Talk Live, and glad to have them because Blink's product's a pretty good product. Mark, you've got some at your house.
Yeah, indeed. Imagine this dad's sheer panic. Working late, bam, he gets an alert on his smartphone that his motion-activated Blink security camera detected something odd at home. He opens up his Blink app and sees a silhouette of a man peering through his kitchen window. Calls 911, alerts his wife, crisis averted. Look, preventing threats like this is why Blink has sold over 1 million motion-activated security cameras. The point of having home security is to help alert you before some creep breaks in, not after, which is why I trust Blink. Blink video cameras are wire-free, set up super fast, and run on batteries that last years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions. Here's the deal. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys charge, and an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. I've got this in my home. Ian, you've got it here at the studio, blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Bad Slave is on the line on Skype in New Hampshire. Hello, Bad Slave.
Hi, I just heard Melanie say something like, well, if an adult is not receiving a minimum wage, they're going to starve to death. And
no, I did not say that.
Well, you close to that. What did you say?
You said the jobs wouldn't exist.
I said that if a job is not paying enough to keep one adult human alive, then they're not going to. That in the free market it wouldn't exist because your employees would just be dying.
Well, they wouldn't stay. They're going to go someplace to earn money.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think that there are many, many circumstances where there is less than a full need for a wage to cover someone, where there's a family and there's additional, workforce there to fill in in a lower skilled realm where they can be an apprentice and they can be a learner.
Well, plus one adult doesn't have to, one person doesn't have to rent an entire house all for themselves.
Well,
too,
I didn't say, well, you don't need an entire house to not die. I said enough to stay not dead.
All she's saying is that that the market will set an effective minimum wage, right? So
right.
Even
through competition,
I don't care about the minimum wage. I'm willing to work for people, based on numbers that don't have to do anything with the government. But I'm not going to work for $5 an hour. I'm not going to do anything unless it's sleep. You want me to test your mattress all night long because I'm not willing to get up in the middle of the night and go to a different mattress.
There are jobs like that out there.
Fine, I'm willing to do that for $5 an hour.
You can actually exist in your own whatever you're doing anyway and get paid for it, and it doesn't have to be that sort of a thing. It can be that could be excess opportunity. You can get a second job. The thing that we don't ever address, though, seems to me that we still have this huge burden that gets placed upon any economy by the government expenditures, which are the worst expenditures that ever occur. They are not market-based. They do things that we absolutely don't want them to do. Mm-hmm. They steal money to get there. And
then it's tremendous waste. Tremendous waste.
And I mean, if we care about the poor, this is where we start, is getting rid of government. because government is what makes it more likely that they're going to be poor. And
That's true.
you know, and I mean, why don't we talk about that? I mean, this is not ever what they bring up, you know, when these idiots with their $15 an hour signs, you know, marching up and down Manchester's streets.
Oh, they were in Manchester?
You know,
Concord.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we heard they were in
Manchester,
Concord today. They were focusing in state capitals across the United States.
Place. You know, it was the same thing with the Occupy movement. And, you know, we all, you know, threw in with trying to make that make more sense, and nobody really wants to talk about the ideas that are actually going to improve society.
Well, it's a lot harder to, you know, express those ideas, right? It's easy to hold a sign and chant why you want more money, because who doesn't want more money? But they don't understand the economics behind it, which is to say that if you increase the minimum wage, then all of a sudden prices get to likely follow in an increase as well, because the business owners have costs, and one of those big costs is the personnel. And thank you, by the way, for the call tonight, Bad Slave. One of the biggest costs in any business is the cost of personnel, and so if that cost goes up, which in the case what they're asking for here is basically a doubling of what the minimum wage is right now, because it's 7-something at the moment, if I recall correctly, at the federal level.
Yeah, I think so.
And so they're talking about doubling that to $15 an hour.
Which is a huge increase.
It is. Now, most people don't work for the minimum wage, and most wage earners in a household don't get the minimum wage.
I'd also like to point out that, you know, that the federal minimum wage means that people who live in rural Mississippi need to make as much money as the minimum. Same minimum amount applies to rural Mississippi or the Aleutian Islands out in Alaska as it does to New York City. That there, folks, is bad economics.
Well, yeah, the whole minimum wage is bad economics across the board, and it's also insulting to the other employees who've worked hard to make, you know, $15 an hour or whatever. Or let's say somebody's at.
Well, it's not. It's insulting was 3 stations back. It's taking away that money that they've worked up to, because they're not necessarily going to get a inflation proportionate raise.
The people who are already making 15, you mean?
Yeah, or anything in between.
Right. So if you're making $14 an hour, you've worked hard, you're at McDonald's in a manager position or something like that, and you know you've worked for years to get up to that level, and then all of a sudden some political move happens and $15 an hour goes into effect. Well, you get $1 an hour raise, but so does all the kids who are working for $10 an hour. They get $5 an hour raises, and now they are getting the same amount of pay as you did.
Yeah, and some of them are going to get fired because as that manager, you're going to have to figure out who can stay and who can go.
Right.
Because once the minimum wage gets raised, it has to go somewhere.
The firings happen.
It has to go to price, it has to go to quality, or it has to go to personnel. Those are your choices.
You've got to cut something. You got to cut something.
Right. And maybe it goes to all three. Maybe the prices go up a little bit. Maybe some of the employees get canned.
Yep.
And maybe the quality of the whatever the meal is goes down. And it doesn't have to be meals, but meals tend to be the place where we focus on.
Some of these fast food places can't cut their quality anymore, right? Like you can only have grade Z beef so long.
It's just pink slime.
Yeah, it has to still be legal, so you can only go so far down.
It's worth pointing out that hear you talk, Ian, but it's not the people. It's not the wealthy people who are eating at McDonald's.
Probably
it's
not.
the poor people that are eating McDonald's.
Which means
in many
their
cases.
costs are going up.
Right, so their costs go up. This is Mickey Mouse economics.
But your tax rate doesn't go down, so you're actually making less money.
Right, they tax you higher because you're making more, supposedly, but all the things you're spending on cost more. So actually your quality of living, believe it or not, will go down as the minimum wage increases. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Were you born before the year 1956? If so, did you know you could be collecting between $575 and $2,200 in tax-free income right now? All thanks to the FHA. Or what about this? Did you know 54 U.S. congressmen have used a special tax-free account to earn up to 35 times more on their money? It's true, and you can do it too. These are just two of the secrets revealed inside a stunning new book from the Palm Beach Research Group and Ted Benna, the man behind the 401k. You'll discover the 18 best cash cows that can help you earn up to an extra $6,800 a month. Just go to 501kbook.com right now. If you're at or near retirement, this book is a must-read. You can get your own free copy. Shipping and handling charges apply. Just go to 501kbook.com right now while there are still copies left. That's 501kbook.com. 501kbook.com. Just go to 501kbook.com right now.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us here. Our number 855-450-FREE. We may have enough time for you if you get on the line with us now. And in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Plus, want to make sure that you're aware of the Free Talk Live website. You go to freetalklive.com. We got all kinds of features there. We have a webcam. In fact, you can watch it on the Twitch website as well. Go to twitch.lrn.fm. That'll take you right to our Twitch cam feed, which is the highest quality version of the show that you can watch. There is still one on YouTube, but it's like a quarter of the resolution. The Twitch feed is at 720 lines, and it looks great, and it sounds great, and it's free to watch. So head over to twitch.lrn.fm.
It's big, free, but not forever.
Meaning the archives don't stay forever on the Twitch system, is what you mean. Yeah, it's more of a live platform, although they stay for like 2 weeks. So if there's really a show you really like, there's Twitch downloading tools and things like that, so you could always download a favorite episode and keep it forever. Because we don't care about copyright and all that stuff. twitch.lrn.fm. And thank you to everybody, by the way. We haven't, since we started Twitch back in January, was when we started with them, after YouTube was pretty rude to our live stream and canceled our live stream in the middle of a live stream. Twitch doesn't do that stuff to us, which has been great. Twitch has been good so far. We haven't really pushed the whole subscription thing, and so what happens with the Twitch subscriptions is if you do the Twitch Prime thing, which I think I saw you do a Twitch Prime recently, Mark.
Yes.
If you do the Twitch Prime, which means you have Amazon Prime, you're a subscriber of Amazon Prime, this is one of your perks.
Right.
Is you get a free subscription on Twitch.
Amazon Prime people have a Twitch perk, and that is they get one free subscription per month to a Twitch channel. So you have to do this every month in order for the money to go our direction. Right. But nonetheless, I have Amazon Prime. I had never heard of Twitch until Ian brought it up, and so
you had this perk and you didn't even know about it.
Right. So I do this every time just because, well, might as well.
Right, and I actually set a thing up on Twitch to where if you have Amazon Prime and you've got your account connected, because you have to connect Twitch to Amazon first, and there's instructions. If you are on twitch.lrn.fm, you kind of scroll down a little bit. There's an area where we have some instructions on how to do that. It's pretty simple. Even Mark was able to do it, so it's pretty simple.
It's like one click.
And then once you are connected...
Oh, you mean connecting them.
Yeah, once you're connected... then there's going to be a little icon that pops up of a crown on our video, and you can just click that and it'll resubscribe you. So we've made it easy to resubscribe, but Twitch Prime people, you have to do it every month if you continue to want to support us. It's not like a set it and forget it kind of thing, which would be nice if it was like the AMP program where you just set it and forget it, and we get $5 a month. But from Twitch, I think we get like $2.50 in per subscriber. So if you want to support us to the maximum, the AMP program is a way to do that. But if you're already on Prime, this is something you have and you can throw it our direction. So at one time we had as many as 45 subscribers, and that's down to less than 20 at this moment, just because we haven't been pitching it and reminding people to go and do that. So
it's not new. Also, right. new matters.
So thank you to the folks who are continuing to support us there, and also you can follow us on Twitch, which means that if you sign up for the emails or if you have their app, it will send you a notice whenever we go live. So that's always a nice thing to have. If you want to watch us live, that's definitely the way to do it at twitch.lrn.fm. Just real quick here about the Walmart thing, since I said we were going to mention it. The claim being that there are so many Walmart employees that are on food stamps, according to the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. According to investors.com, this is Lonnie Shepard from that union who writes that according to a 2014 report by Americans for Tax Fairness, Walmart receives an estimated $6.2 billion in subsidies every year, primarily from the federal government. If Walmart would only pay its workers more, the argument goes, taxpayers would save all this money. The USA Today editors apparently didn't bother to look into an ATF report before publishing their piece, so we did. The ATF, a coalition of union and liberal advocacy groups, that's Americans for Tax Fairness, based its findings on a 2013 report written by Democrats on the House Education and Workforce Committee. In other words, none of these sources is objective by any means. House Democrats based their findings on data from one state, Wisconsin, where they found that 3,216 Walmart workers were enrolled in the state's Medicaid program. Based on this number, the report circulates that a Walmart supercenter costs taxpayers between $900,000 and $1.7 million per year. To get that number, the Democrats assumed that everyone enrolled in Medicaid is also enrolled in every other public program available for low-income families, including food stamps, subsidized housing, child care subsidies, and the Earned Income Tax Credit and more, which accounted for 72% of the supposed taxpayer costs. Plus, the report admits that extrapolating taxpayer costs for Walmart stores in other states based on the Wisconsin data is difficult, unquote, in large part because the state had looser rules for who could enroll in Medicaid. So no matter, Americans for Tax Fairness simply took this already grossly inflated number and applied it to the rest of the nation, and voila, came up with its $6.2 billion so-called Walmart tax.
Okay, so the fact that a Democratic group overstated and made up a number as to what the number was does not mean that no company anywhere in the U.S. has a single worker subsidized by the state.
Yeah, but the claim was, and this is a common claim, is that Walmart workers are more likely to be on food stamps. A bunch of them are on food stamps, and the fact is,
they're not more likely than
I've
any
known
other.
have not been. The ones that I've known personally have not been, and the statistics are quite skewed on that. That was really the only point.
The fact that they're not more likely than anyone else isn't really the issue. They're
Well, the claim
bigger
was
than anyone
Walmart
else,
is
so
being
this-
supported with its supposed low wages by the food stamps and such, and there's just not a whole lot of evidence to support that claim. That's all. And besides,
Well,
Walmart
in
doesn't
some
pay minimum wage
cases-
anyway. They pay more than minimum wage.
Yeah, in some cases, I'm sure that they and almost all other corporations are. I don't believe that number. That number is crazy. I mean, nobody brought up.
Nobody
that
brought
number
up numbers,
supporting
but
it,
yeah, let's go to Andrew. He's in Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hey, great. What's on your mind tonight?
So you guys were talking about the minimum wage and just taxes, and I work for a church, and it is my knowledge that my head pastor can choose whether or not he pays into Social Security.
Yep,
And
that's
I was
not
just,
not uncommon. Yep.
Yeah, and I was just curious on your guys' opinion. Like, hey, should all Americans be able to be like, hey, I want to opt in or opt out of Social Security?
Absolutely, people should be able to opt out of Social
I think
Security.
you should be able to opt out. I don't necessarily think you should be able to opt in, because then you're saying, I want to be part of a federal government Ponzi scheme. So
yeah.
just doing away with it would be the optimal result.
Well, his
Anybody
question
you wanna
was,
let
should
opt
people be
out?
able to opt out? And yes,
Well, he
people
said,
should.
and then he said opt out or opt in.
Well, by default, they force you into Social Security.
You should be able to opt
Right,
out
but
of all
that's-
government programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Do you think should there be a waiting period? Like, hey, we'll get rid of Social Security in 30 years, or do you think someone should pass something to where they just kind of rip the blanket under and just
rip off the
whoever survives,
Band-Aid?
survives?
I'm of the opinion that people should be able to choose the government that they want to have, and if they wish to stay opt-in, as far as I'm concerned, if a government program has an opt-out opportunity, it has then become voluntary.
That's a good point, yeah.
And then there's no particular problem with it.
All right.
Andrew,
Awesome.
thanks for
Thank
the
you guys
call
for your
tonight.
opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate hearing from you. And the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Let's go to David. He's in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live on Skype.
Yeah, I'm only calling because you posed a bunch of questions that haven't been answered.
Pick one of them.
All,
Pick one.
Yeah, first of all, I'm probably the only guy in the room that's had a face-to-face, one-on-one private conversation with Sam Walton.
Really?
And it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. So one thing that first of all, I have determined from experience that a person, using numbers for one person, can live on $200 a month and have a relatively normal life because I've done it. Not that you would want to do it that way, but it can be done.
Now, where were you living for $200 a month?
Yeah, that's not going to be true everywhere due to rent, no matter how many roommates you have.
Yeah. I've done it many different places, many different ways. For instance, if you are outside of, if you take Keene, New Hampshire, if you go, well, actually, your state is probably higher priced land. If you go to a state with lower priced land, for instance, like in this case, New Mexico, but you can pick any other state, and you can be just outside far enough of a town or a small city or even a large city that the land prices have dropped. You buy an acre of land, and then you put up a structure, whether you site build your own thing for using your own labor and materials you buy piece by piece from the store, or you can drag in an old mobile home that nobody wants anymore and
You
make
probably
that
grow
work.
some food, I'd imagine, as well, because I can tell you I can spend $200 at a grocery store, no problem. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, David. I appreciate hearing from you. If you didn't get
I'd like
on,
to hear more about how to live that cheaply at some point.
there's books that you can probably buy on that sort of subject. If you didn't get on tonight, we apologize. You can always try us again tomorrow. Of course, a lot of people always call at the very last moment. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone, and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake, an ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal several hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, "The defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million.